So, I'm actually making a TF2 video, after branching out and posting other gaming content. Yeah, that's precisely what I'm doing. TF2 is a game that I used to enjoy playing day after day, whether it was with friends or fans for the past 4 years. But after going so long with no huge content updates and no communication from the development team, I started to grow bored of playing with the same exact weapons, on the same exact maps, constantly playing on the same exact game modes. I have over 10,000 hours on this game, and yeah, most of it is idle hours from leaving the game on, but still, I wanted to experience something new, and it's really important for a game like TF2 to pump out new content on a consistent basis. It's a multiplayer first-person shooter that's free-to-play. The game is almost 12 years old and has basically no marketing at all. Free content updates for these types of multiplayer games are pretty much essential to keeping it fresh and in people's minds. We're now in an age where players expect DLC and updates on a monthly to maybe even a weekly basis. Overwatch, Smash Bros, Fortnite. All of these games have people that come back for the fun and addicting gameplay, yes, but they also get content updates to keep the players interested. TF2, it has fun and addicting gameplay as well, but it's the same fun and the same gameplay every single time you play. After a while, it starts to get boring. Maybe some people will disagree, maybe you'll play the game forever, with no content updates, but for me at least, I need just a little change every now and then. A new weapon, a new map, a new game mode, weapon changes, a new tour, an MVM, changes to competitive mode, a goddamn cosmetic case, dude, anything. Smash Bros Ultimate gets DLC characters, Mii Fighter costumes, stages, character changes, new features, and new modes. Overwatch and Fortnite gets seasonal events, new cosmetics, new maps, map changes, and balancing, along with new characters and weapons. And it doesn't take a whole year for all that stuff to come out, it's like usually 3 to 4 months. And the smaller stuff is sprinkled in every week or so. TF2, it gets none of that anymore. Like seriously, not one big update in over a year. Why though? Why is it taking so long for new content, and why is there no communication? We've been in this loop before where they've not communicated and an update would drop like a year later, but this time it's been almost 2 years, like a year and a half since Jungle Inferno. Yes, we did have, we had Scream Fortress and we had Smithmas, but I'm not counting those as big updates, especially those ones back in 2018. Those specific releases of Scream Fortress and Smithmas weren't anything too special. They were community events, like pretty much just community events like the old ones. But yeah, why is it taking so long for new content, and why is there no communication? Short answer, I don't know. However, there are a few things that could be going on. As we speak, there could be a huge update being worked on for the game, and the team might not be communicating to avoid any crazy expectations from fans. Maybe there were some ideas that the team wanted to implement, and those ideas were scrapped, which unfortunately wasted development time. TF2 could be getting a huge UI upgrade, needed changes to competitive, or getting a port to Source 2. Which seems almost impossible for a game like Team Fortress 2. But the worst possible outcome is that the development team could be pretty much gone. There might just be a single person or two working on the smaller updates, and soon, TF2 will just stop getting new content. Tyler McVicker from Valve News Network brought this up in one of his more recent videos, and he brought up the idea that TF2 could be done with content updates, and the lack of communication or any announcement could be because they don't want to send the in-game economy into panic mode. The economy will literally go insane and possibly crash more than it ever has. The scary thing is, we don't know anything, which means it's possible that something like that could be happening behind the scenes. I don't personally think that's happening, I still think content is being worked on, but again, we don't have any idea. I do have some suggestions though, suggestions for future updates and how I think this 12-year-old game could handle content updates in a better way. First off, where is the love for community-created content? The workshop is filled with maps, weapons, skins, and hats. I can't think of a reason why it's extremely hard to implement content that you don't need to make. You could literally just release it every now and then. But the second suggestion I have is that you don't need to hold off all of this content for one huge update that takes literally 1 year to release. It worked in the past, and those updates were really hype, but it just takes too long. And with all of the content being pushed in one go, major launch issues and bugs are almost inevitable. I know a lot of TF2 fans won't be too happy with what I'm about to say, but just do what every other modern shooter is doing. Drip feed content little by little. Maybe release one map or one new weapon at a time. If you release everything at once, people will just want another huge update a month or two later. By releasing content one step at a time in a shorter time frame, players won't lose interest as much and will keep coming back every update. And the last thing the TF team should do is be more consistent and communicate with the community. I know I'm talking about Valve here. They're not a very consistent company when it comes to content and game releases, and they almost never communicate with their fans. But man, those TF2 blog posts are very, very, very inconsistent, and it's the only way they really communicate to us, other than maybe Reddit. I know at this point, I'm basically just giving Valve suggestions to modernize a 12-year-old game, but I feel like this stuff is important for keeping this old game alive and kicking for the next who knows how long. But the TF2 community, it's probably one of the most welcoming and least toxic communities I've been part of, and I only hope it will continue to live for as long as possible. I also hope the remaining TF team decides to hand the torch to you guys if they do decide to stop releasing new content. TF2 isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The player base is still there, and even if Valve completely abandons it, the community servers will remain until the end of time. Sorry to seem gloomy about the state of TF2 and everything during this entire video. I tend to think about the worst and sometimes the best possible scenarios for things, so I wouldn't worry about any bad news regarding the state of TF2 coming out anytime soon. There could be big plans for Team Fortress 2, and the game might even thrive more than it ever has if they decide to modernize their approach to new content releases. That's pretty much it though. Like I said, this isn't a TF2 channel anymore. I've moved on and I'm starting to do more variety content. But that doesn't mean I hate the game. TF2 was an important game to me and it always will be. I hope some of you will stick around for some of my other contents. I will be talking about TF2 in the future, but it just won't be the only thing you see on this channel. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.